Like my new glasses? I look like the aliens from that, I don't know, the show a long time ago on TV where they had the big eyes. But I won't wear them for the video. I just wanted to show them off. But, you know, uh, I don't know. I used to, at one time, I used to own New York Lotto. New York, you say, what? You saw New York Lotto? You're laughing at me. No, but seriously, I used to own NewYorkLotto.com, and I bought it. I created it on Network Solutions, which was a website where you bought .coms back in. I bought it in 1999, December of 1999, and $35 I bought it for. I sold it for 2008. So I don't know it. I don't know it anymore, and it doesn't exist on the internet anymore. You can put the name in your search bar, and it won't come up. Nothing will come up. It won't. It won't do anything. I've tried. I know, but the because the state owns New York Lotto, and they got rid of it. They took care of it. Whoever owned it after me, I guess I don't know if they paid them or they just said no more. They weren't doing anything with it. They were just trying to sell the name, so they weren't selling lottery tickets or anything, like I was. I was selling lottery tickets online, and the real reason I did it was to give the winning numbers, because back in '99, it was very hard to get winning numbers for your ticket, to find out if your ticket was a winner. And they made it purposely like that, so you couldn't find out, and you would throw it away, and they would keep the money. Uh, but I know you go into the store now, and you scan, there's a barcode on your ticket, and you scan the ticket in the barcode reader, and it says winner or $2 winner or whatever the result of your ticket is. It lets you know. Well, they didn't have that. You had to call a 917 number, and you would pay $1 to get the winning numbers. And if you didn't get them on the first try, you had to call back and pay again to get the numbers. And of course there was a newspaper. You could go to the newspaper and get, but then you had to buy a newspaper to get the winning numbers and stuff like that. So it was very difficult. It was very complicated. And if it was an old ticket, it was even more complicated. You know, and it used to kill me when I would hear those things, that the reports that, oh, this multi-million-dollar winning ticket is going to expire in a week. Everybody go check your tickets. Maybe you have it, and they don't have it. It's a year old. It's only good for a year, and there's a week left. So it's a year old, and that money's going to go back to the state, and that'll be the end of it. So that was my motivation behind creating NewYorkLotto.com, and I wanted to sell tickets to people that were crippled or couldn't leave the house or couldn't go to a candy store or a 7-Eleven or a gas station to buy a ticket. And I wanted to make it easy for them so they could be a part of it, and hopefully win, you know. But anyway, uh, when Mega Million, when I bought New York Lotto in '99, Mega Millions didn't exist, and Powerball uh, wasn't in New York. It was in Jersey and it was in Connecticut. So if you wanted a Powerball ticket, you had to go to Jersey or you had to go to Connecticut to get it. So New York Lotto was the only game in New York, and now it's the bottom of the bottom. Barely any. I would play New York Lotto because when Powerball and Mega were $2 each, I would play $2 Mega, $2 Power, and then the extra dollar of a $5 bill, I'd play two sets of numbers uh, for lottery, and lotto, and hopefully I win. And I never did. You know. But regardless, it's just yeah. But it's funny. I had a girlfriend at the time, and she got very mad when I told people I owned it. I didn't understand that. I think she was just jealous. You know, uh, she thought I was foolish. Meanwhile, you can go and download an app right now and buy lotto tickets on your phone. And depending on where you live, of course, because some states it's still illegal. But I know in New York you can. And so, that's that story. But I just want to say, Iran is still playing with Trump. He's on this string. They got him on a string, and they're playing him like a puppet. And they're not going to sign no deal. They're not going to open the strait. They don't care. They want to have fun with them, and that's what they're doing. And they don't care if you blow up this or that. They don't care. It's worth it to screw with Trump. It's worth it to screw with Israel. They got more power with this than any bomb or any drone that they can send out. They send out drones and bombs just to have fun. It's all fun. They don't care, you know. And Trump cares. He won't say that, but he cares deeply because he looks like the idiot that he is, you know. And it's just uh, he's gonna go to this G7 and they're all gonna yell at him and tell him he's an idiot. There's nothing much he could say about it. And I'm sure Xi said that when he went to China. Xi was not very happy with him, and you could tell it from Donald's face that he was not well received there, and rightfully so. Because China lives off Iran oils, you know. But this is a very big embarrassment, you and in Trump's mind, I think he's planning another coup when it comes to him to leave the office. Uh, but I believe that the Republicans' mind, the Republican leadership, they're going to get rid of Trump right after the midterms. They're going to declare him incompetent to stand to be a president, mentally unstable or physically unable to do the job. And they're not going to put Vance in the place. They're going to replace Vance before they get rid of Trump. Trump's going to replace Vance because they don't like Vance, and Vance doesn't have any potential of being a Republican president in the future, and they know that. So they're going to replace him with somebody that they do think has potential, and he'll take over Trump's role. Um, probably in January or sometime after the midterms, and he'll have 2 years' experience as president um, before he has to run for his own term, and he'll get 10 years as president if he wins 2 terms. So, I don't see the Republicans changing or deviating from that plan. Um, it's the only plan they got, because if Trump runs for the whole works as president for the whole 4 years, then they have to start from scratch and they have to start with primaries, and they don't like primaries because primaries reveal their weakness because they have to attack each other on the primary stage and the debate stages and stuff, and that looks bad for them, and they don't like the optics. They are very robotic. They're very inline. This is what we do, and that's it. So you don't need 10 people saying the same thing, and to be on a debate stage like that, you can't say the same thing. So they don't like the optics, and they want a hand-picked person that they can manipulate and control, like they do Trump, and uh, and that'll be the future of the Republican Party. Uh, so, and it's, nothing's going to change in that way. So they're going to do what I just said. Now, Trump in his mind, he's thinking he's planning on our next coup. And that's why he's talking about voter fraud and all that stuff. So he can play that game again like he did in 2000, 2020. But, it's just, they're Nazis. They're all Nazis. Nazi parties running the country. And they're running the old playbook that the Nazis ran. And They had to wait until nobody knew what they were doing. But now everybody knows what they're doing, so it doesn't have the effect that it once had.